Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another night of Toot Sweet Tasting in the Dark. We have our three esteemed panelists that we will discover their whereabouts and what fors here in a moment. But first, I'd like to introduce Dave Stevens. Dave Stevens, proprietor of 750 Wines in St. Helena, an all-around kick-ass human being. Dave, do you have one sentence that you might like to throw out at the live studio audience and the live interweb machine?
Hello, good evening, and I wish you all could be here to taste these fabulous wines.
Just like that, Shazam. I have to go introduce everyone. We will jump into the juice. Ladies and gentlemen, you know the format. Here we go.
Wayne, the titan, the pillar, hey, the man who's going to bring respectability to this table.
Stepping it up.
Wayne, what brings you to this table? This night of all nights, how did you find yourself into the wine world, and more importantly, to this moment?
Well, my dear friend Didier said you need to come here and don't miss this night. So that was the first thing.
Okay.
But my experience has been through 26 years in the wine industry, and working for a range of small, large wine companies throughout my career. Starting in Australia, so my accent is not from southern New Jersey.
Are you kidding? Are you pulling my leg?
I'm not pulling your leg. Well, maybe way south, but anyway. So here I am.
Is that a dig? I resent that.
Are you from New Jersey?
Is this coming out of our 7 minutes?
Now, I would like to introduce Stephanie DeMessi. Stephanie will bring beauty, elegance, and refinement to this evening, and that is no small feat. So she is unfortunately sandwiched between these two roguish brutes. And Stephanie, I know you fairly intimate because you're one of my wife's fine friends, but more importantly, as one of the pinnacle business minds in the Napa Valley. I know you are the general manager for one of the luxury boutique Cabernets in St. Helena. And you're just kind of the all-around X factor. So introduce, if you'd be so kind, yourself to the interweb world out there.
Hi, interweb world. I'm Stephanie DeMassi. Thank you for that. He's a fantastic bowler, by the way. That's how we really got to become intimate with one another. Jocelyn Vineyards up on Spring Mountain for over 10 years. We make some great Cabernet. I do a little bit of this and that. I guess you'd say I'm a hustler.
Finger in many pies.
Yes, I'd like to keep.
Yeah,
I like
nice.
to be a dabbler.
Uh-huh.
And what I would say is watch out for that one.
That leads us to Kevin. So I mentioned a rogue entity a moment ago. I think he's anchored here at the foot of the table. And you know how a black hole has a vortex that just sucks everything into it?
Uh-huh.
I think that's Kevin in a nutshell.
It could be.
So Kevin,
As long as there's a lot of Irish whiskey around, we can do that.
there you go. Kevin, if you'd be so kind, introduce yourself to the World Wide Web.
Hi, I'm Kevin Carricker. I'm one of the two owners of Cobalt Wines, based in the city of Napa. And I got my start in the business when my business partner explained to me that if I started a winery with him, that I could get paid to drink for the rest of my life, and I was in.
And
So-
with that, ladies and gentlemen, the drinking will begin.
All right.
Format is the same. We have 15 minutes to break down 6 wines.
Okay, so are we starting our 15 minutes now?
It's a fairly liberal 15, but yes.
Well, apparently it's not.
All right. We're in. Start jumping in left or right. I will put your evacuation vessel in the middle. Once you have, what's that for? To change flights. So, not that it will be needed, particularly for, Kevin. Once you've gone through the first 3 wines,
Wait,
at about 7.5 minutes, I will tell you it is time to refresh your glasses with wines 4, 5, and 6. It is on. Have fun. All right, Mr. Stevens. Sure.
Although we know everybody who
Matthew Simpson, head monkey and chief bottle washer. Being a bit of a sucker that I am for beauty, I have to have a moment about your sweet Monica. Yeah. Where the hell is she? Why is she not here?
we have at the wine auction, so we have clients in town that insisted we dine with them later tonight, and so she is helping prepare the goods, and I'm here with you.
I do like any man that proposes his wife as being the goods. This is awesome. Okay, so what is 750 Wines? What are the wines that you selected, not by name or vintage, more typicity, and why were they the wines picked?
Well, first of all, 750 Wines, we are a wine merchant. We started this business about 3.5 years ago with the intention of sort of raising the retail experience.
Pardon me for 1 second. There is no laughing. This is not funny business. You will buckle your ass down and get through this flight. There are 4 minutes left, people. Be timely.
I should speak quickly, too. So we do private tastings by appointment. We have wines in inventory, but we're not like a regular wine shop. We don't have wine clubs. We don't send out email blasts every X, you count the days, daily, monthly, semi-annually. It's more of a personalized business where we get to know people's palate, and we recommend wines to them specifically based on their feedback and their purchase history. And then Monica takes care of them when they come to the Valley. She has a concierge business, and all of their concierge needs are taken care of complimentary when they visit the Valley.
This is why I love guys like Dave. He is so humble. He's not giving you even the full real story. First and foremost, how do they get a hold of you?
Telephone or email.
And those numbers or email addresses?
707-963-0750. David at or Monica at 750wines.com.
750wines.com. All right. This is why this guy is so awesome. He is a veteran of the wine selling business in Napa for 20 years. You may have heard of a restaurant called Trevina. He is the reason that they succeeded in a wine sales format. Then he was smart enough to take all the technology, all the skill, and all his desire and launch a new wine selling venue. And then from that point, it was refined yet again. So you are going to be, well, enjoying wines that are the apex wine authority and purveyor in California, let alone Napa Valley. It's true, man. I know the brands that sit on your shelves. I know which winemakers like this monkey over here jump into your shop on a regular basis to meet your clients. And that's a privilege that it's so rare and indelible. What everyone comes to the Valley, they want to experience great wines and see the beautiful countryside and all the magic that is Napa. What often is missing is that personal connection to the source. David provides that connection. He and Monica will literally put you in the vineyard so that you're not only getting a moment of education, but more importantly, it's giving gravity to how extraordinary the wines are. Okay, now, Wayne, I'm scared for this guy. I think he's over his head. He's a longtime veteran, so the confidence factor is going to be a little high, but just that chuckle alone, the nerves are just frayed at the very ends. I fear for his sanity.
And he's originally Australian, so he will get some of the things right. The first question it will be, yes, they're not Shiraz. So he's got those three correct so far. They're white.
That's a good starting point. You mind your wine. Now then, we've got Stephanie.
If I can just revert to our good friend, his name, when he pronounces it, is Wine. We call him Wayne. He says that my name is Wine.
The subtle perfections of a day. Man, I've never had that moment of introspection, but good God, if I could name myself for the greatest beverage on earth, yeah, okay, I would follow in those footsteps. All right, that brings us to DeMassive. Studious, courteous, lovely, but perhaps maybe a bit of a willow in the wind. I think she's going to flow a little left. She's going to slide a little right. I don't have a lot of faith in her abilities at this moment. I think she's going to be overwhelmed. Well, then there would be that. For those of you out there in cyber world, in the Toot Sweet land, there is a fairly significant auction activity called Auction Napa Valley that happened last weekend. And I had the great pleasure of sharing a dining table with Stephanie and her fine fella. There was a bit of consumption up to that point, so the stories that were told were very, very accurate, but also significantly distorted. Okay, that brings us to Kevin. Now, what do you know about this guy?
I know that he got the memo about the black shirt, but I'm not sure about the cartoon on front.
Neither is he. So that's the Claremont Lounge. Well, anybody that's throwing boobs on the T-shirt, that's a money shot, even if they are artistically derived. Well, hey, hence the boobs. That's I have this knack for discovering the obvious. This is good. Now, what concerns me is the hat. So I certainly understand the idea of putting branding forward, but is that really how you want to be seen?
But speaking of branding, the hat matches the ink.
Oh, so there are subtle perfections on both sides of the table. All right, I was certainly leery of all these things. And oh my God, with that, we have exceeded our first 7.5 minutes. Panelists, evacuate your glasses and charge them anew with wines 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so once again, Wayne's a little needy, jumping right to the gun. I don't think he's going to settle down for the entirety of this 15 minutes, let alone the half hour that we're going to grill him. Kevin's kind of the California kid, as I see it. a little scratch here, a little itch there. He has no idea what he's doing here. He just knows he's drinking. Again,
It's not Cabernet. It's not Shiraz. So the bookends have got the first three. At least they know what it's not.
good point. Which is often as much as 20 to 30% of the battle. Sorry, I'm supposed to talk into the microphone. Sorry about that.
Are they half white and half red? Or?
It makes no difference. You're just looking for wines 4, 5, and 6. Correct. Dave, would you be so kind to assist? And once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's where having a guy like David Stevens is so vital. At nary a moment's notice, he jumps into action to make sure that, one, everyone's having a good time, and that they're drinking the appropriate glasses. Now, ladies and gentlemen out there in the land of Toot Sweet, you know I've done this now for a couple of years. And I fear very deeply that this is the most ruckus and disorganized group we've ever seen. I've had Frenchmen at the table. I've had gentlemen from Switzerland. We all over the country. These three local yokels are absolutely screwing this up. It's unbelievable.
We didn't tell them there would be math.
Well, this is true. And so with that engaged, okay, so Wayne is looking for confirmation. Once again, the needy soul. Get your ass in there, son. I mean, the wine's there to be drank, as Kevin would appreciate. Okay, Stephanie's very quickly. Again, you share my knack for discovering the obvious. I'm proud of you. That's great. Stephanie, I know that she was studying in the Master of Wine candidacy. So I fear her palate, but more importantly, I respect it. Kevin owns a brand. It's quite a successful brand, Cobalt Wines, here in Napa Valley, and he's taken one for the team. Look at this guy. He's trying to help out his fellow panelist. Now, it could be because she's quite a pretty girl, or more importantly, he just has that absolute thing that he can't sit at a table when something's untidy. OCD. That's our guy.
He can't sit at an untidy table.
I know. It's shocking.
Wow. Who'd have thunk that?
Bringing the spitting all the way over. I mean, these are classic OCD signs. I think we're going to need to bring a physician in to tend to him after this. I mean, this is traumatic for him.
It's traumatic for all of us just to watch.
Car crash in the making. Okay.
I'd like to see what they think. When Didier asked me to do this, he said, I asked him what the theme should be, and he said, it can be any theme or no theme. So I actually did have a theme in mind with these 6 wines, even though 2 are red.
Interesting. And is the theme available to be disposed at this time?
We'll just see just how smart they are.
Oh, so this is one of those mental, I'm going to screw your mind kind of tastings. I love it. Not only are you going to enjoy this fine juice, but there's a purpose to all this debauchery.
And it's so obvious.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be fun. Is Tom Hanks in on this in some way? I mean, I saw those movies where he played a pilot, a surgeon, all these great things. Are you trying to make this more intellectually stimulating?
No, I'm just trying to make it easy.
Good man.
I'm dropping hints along the way.
As subtle as, once again, that car crash. Okay. Now, Wayne's in green, which instantly makes me think that he's afraid. He's kind of a pussy, but he's well put together. So he comes right out of that phase. Perhaps, I don't know if there is a type of guy for me. I'm generally going to focus on gals like my wife. But Stephanie actually looks good next to him. I think they planned this out. That swash of blue coming over her shoulder, it just kind of mingles into the green. I think these two are going to find the wines in a very similar way, which once again leaves Kevin kind of on the outskirts. He's going to have to fight his way back in here. I think you're right.
Okay.
It seems like that's his default position. I show up, I smile, things work out.
He's very intent. He's pretending not to hear us.
I know, and that's not easy to do because I'm kind of an intolerable prick, so I can really appreciate how hard that is. Okay, so we've got wines 1 through 3 in the bucket. Wines 4, 5, and 6 are on the table. So it's been a lot of white wine so far. Is that mostly a summer idea? As I'm trying to...
It is a warm weather idea, yes. Absolutely.
I like the fact that you need refreshment the way I do.
Many of these wines, neither of the reds, but all 4 of the whites were in attendance, we'll say, at the Pink and White, the annual Pink and White. We have an event every April, the last week of April, where we have, this year it was 17 vintners with 23 wines, all either crisp lean whites like these or rosés.
Awesome. And I have to tell you, I didn't have an opportunity to see the label of this wine, but I have such a familiarity with it. that I'm thrilled to be drinking
You know what
it.
it is?
Yeah, I'd go balls to bone on that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
Well, may I whisper it in your ear if I may be
sure.
clear?
It is indeed.
There we go.
Look at the big brain
No. There's something big on me. It's usually my belly. Okay, we are winding down. Late panelists, we have just about a moment, maybe a minute, 60 seconds left. So begin putting your most concise and decisive. Whoa, he's out. Oh my God. Okay, I've never seen that before. We've done this for years and years. Wayne went from monkey on the outside to charging champion at the table. DeMasi is sorely lagging behind because Kevin just shows us his numbers. Oh my God. Okay. No, that's good. That's good. Well, they'll be tabulated in a moment. With that in mind, we have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Those were kind of fast. All right. Let's put the microphone down, David, and mosey on up and meet our panelists. Okay. Gideon, if you would be so kind as to procure the panelists'
Yes, sir.
and we will begin anew, but on a much more intimate way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so
Do we have to actually remember now what we tried?
no, heavens no. We don't need that sort of mental dexterity. This is kind of a shoot from the hip arena. Although we might want to get you a towel. Okay.
That's what she said.
I could make a long, funny joke out of that. I'm not gonna. Okay. So then, Wayne.
Yes.
At the end of the 6 wines, was there a conclusive or decisive favorite amongst the lineup?
There was 2 wines that I enjoyed immensely. I thought they were very rich, concentrated, good expressions of, and I think I know what David was trying to do. But I'm not going to go there.
I was just going to say, but if you can refrain, I would
I'm not
appreciate
gonna go
it.
there.
We're going to throw a coin up in the air and you're going to all shout it out at the same time, maybe?
I think all these wines were lovely, and they were a good reflection on David's skill, actually, as a a purveyor of fine wine.
Not only good looks and a beautiful woman.
I didn't make it. All I did was open.
Yeah, I'm just a little worried why his wife is not here versus David, but you know.
That speculation will run rampant later into the evening.
It'll come out later. It's a very good one.
Stephanie DeMasi, possibly the most educated and certainly my most feared palate on the table. Do you happen to find a cohesive point
get
of
closer and
union
rub
amongst
off
the
on
6
the-
wines, or is it just willy-nilly shooting from the hip?
It was definitely not willy-nilly, but I might not have both of my blinders open, but I'm getting there. They were really well chosen. I too enjoyed 2 of them. I'm not sure if they were the same above the rest. I love the acidity and concentration and all of the different wines, and they were definitely in my wheelhouse as far as what you'd find in my fridge for drinking. So that was the challenging actual part, was because they kind of suited my palate preferences, at least especially in the former part of the tasting. So really
And
cool.
I think the whites in particular are really in a style that's becoming more and more popular
Yeah.
with American palate. As
Absolutely.
we
Mature.
become more of a mature, wine consuming nation, we're still sort
Is
of
there
in
a
our
lead-away
infancy.
favorite?
I think one of mine did get close to 20 points, actually, and I just don't remember which one it was, because I tallied at the end and out of order because Didier didn't want to add.
The Frenchman at the table.
you have to
math
write
is
And I
everything.
kind of used my fingers too, so it was a lot. It was
okay,
a lot
we
going
can take our
on.
shoes off, get to 20, it'll be fine.
That was so nice.
Well, that's why we are only on a 20
wine.
point, because he's in there right now with his abacus.
I want to be
I'm
invited back.
One never knows.
Kevin, same question. Was there a clear lead-away favorite?
There were 2 that I had fancy too.
You had fancy to them there, did you?
I totally liked.
Oh, so kind of you.
I totally think that Stephanie's right, because any of these, especially the reds, would find their way into my fridge.
Acidic.
So especially the last one, I think it's a light, beautiful wine, and probably a little colder with, some grilled sausages would be great.
Oh, that sounds kind of nice on a warm sunny day. All right.
Or on a cold winter night.
Oh, so you're
Anytime.
kind of guy.
Basically anytime.
Yeah,
anytime.
exactly. That would pretty much encompass the 12 months.
Sunny day, cold night. Yeah, I think we're
Or as a friend of mine who used to live in Tahoe said, we have 2 seasons up here. There's winter and then there's August. So, yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, they've actually given us nothing in our last round of questions. We will have to wait until DDA has actually tabulated their score
Well,
sheets.
it can't be very hard. There's only 3 of us. I mean, what the hell?
Again, you know, some
We
days
did the
things are
heavy
more
lifting
challenging
for
than
it.
others.
Do you need the abacus?
I don't think they have those in France.
Oh.
It's a Roman device, is it not?
Well, no, but the Vietnamese and other people from the Orient are over there. I'm sure that somebody drove one over there at one point or another.
Wow, look at that. We have speculation going back centuries,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen. Interesting. So this is going to be that night where we diverge into the rampant and undulating unknown.
I think so. I think all the wines that David put up here tonight had merit all across the board. So there was a great variety of not a great a variety of complexity,
Diversity.
I think, and diversity within the
Thank
wine,
you.
the style that actually was
Were
being presented.
any that you thought were a very obvious varietal?
That's what I'm saying. is
Yes,
diversity.
particularly on the reds. And actually, the reds, like I've been doing this for way too long, and I should know better than actually to put it out there. But I think, the reds for me gave it away in terms of the, I think,
I get my
strategy
last, I'm
maybe
being
that
punished.
you were
Interesting.
throwing out there. But really good wines, really good wine.
Super cool.
All right, I gotta jump in here.
Oh boy.
Are you getting on the table?
That's another thing that has never happened, ladies and gentlemen.
No, because we
DDA is coming
have
to the table.
several types here, and we need to reveal
We have
1 and
types?
6. So 1 and 6
Okay.
coming up with the
One?
same score. Yeah, and 6.
Same
They're
score.
tied?
Yeah.
You were wrong, guys. What's up with that?
No, I might.
Look at that, Vermin.
I like being wrong.
No. Lucky.
So-
he got the
Give-
varietal and the
Give,
producer.
given you,
Did you say Vermentino?
given, given.
Sorry. Those of you out in cyber world, wine number 1 was Rhyme, and it is Vermentino from Northern Summer. I don't know actually where the vineyard is.
Las Brisas.
Las
Cornell.
Brisas, Carneros.
Given, you didn't like this one here.
100 cases produced.
And it's really
That's
delicious.
wine number 6.
That is wine number 1.
One.
Wine number 6 is two.
Are you opening the
Oh,
Am
yep.
I doing this
That's
right?
right, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, Liz.
Two Shepherd's Grenache. And it
So
is.
it's my theory
100
don't
cases.
completely the other wins.
Sierra Lee's Vineyard, Russian River.
So given,
Wine
given,
maker
you didn't like the one number 1.
William.
You get a 7 point on that. Meanwhile, Wayne loved it.
Yeah.
So why?
Oh, so that's why we canceled each other out?
Yes, right.
And I
So
was right in the
why,
middle.
what was wrong with this?
I got almost a little bit of like a cardboard, which is usually like filtration, like Patty. Not Patty the Irish.
See what
but
happens when you
from
actually have a
Pads.
technically proficient taster at the table.
I
Ladies and
found
gentlemen,
that
that's
there
the kind
was
of
just a
stuff that you
little
have to
too
taste
much
for
acid that
years.
kind of washed out some of the mouthfeel. Not necessarily the finish as much, but there was just something that kind of, I don't know.
How about you, Wayne? You loved it.
I did love it. But I will say on the record that my theory, so I will retract everything that I said about my theory about what was going on with the tasting. But I did love the wine. It had great freshness, cleanliness, intensity, crispness. I love the barrel ferment, which is probably the cardboardy expression that is actually, it's like a little wheat, wheat element that goes into the wine. I just thought that the layers of complexity in that wine were quite
Stephanie, how much you pay for that?
astounding.
Like I said, I was right in the middle. And just to go to that, if you want to try this at home, this reminded me I had a mishap the other day, and a very nice bottle of white wine spilled on a glass top table. And so I used paper towels, and then
And you drink it?
I squeezed it out.
And being from
Rob,
Napa,
you are
they
the
were
whole new
traders.
definition of thrifty. Oh my god.
No, but being
You're
from
not
Napa, they were
I thought that was bad.
and it tasted just like a coffee filter.
I didn't want to taste. I didn't want to throw it out.
But I bet you it didn't taste so good afterwards.
But it did taste like it had gone through a coffee filter, and the only problem with this wine, it did give me that. It reminded me of that, and you
That
said that
traumatic
is a
moment.
barrel ferment, so that's
Right,
interesting.
right, yeah.
I thought it was something like a Pinot Blanc or whatever. I thought it was right down the middle, but I thought everything was just a little bit muted compared to the other
How much
wines.
you pay for it?
I probably wouldn't buy it, but if I did, I'd spend like $14, $18 for it.
I'd
Okay.
pay more for that.
Yeah.
What's the price?
More than 14 or 18.
Yeah, hey.
Okay, what is it?
24.
Yeah,
24?
I would have thought 30. I like that one.
Here you
So
go.
you balanced each other out.
Okay,
You should
next,
lick the
next
tape.
one number 6.
Glass.
Number 6.
Number 6, that was a little bit closer on the score. You have a 12 here, 14 and 14. So that's, everybody like really agree on the wine.
I
pretty much.
thought you were going like Beaujolais here or something like that. I was in the Grenache, I saw that, but this is really cool wine. This is
Isn't it
really
nice?
cool.
And this guy, William Allen, he's a computer tech nerd. And I mean, I'm not embarrassing.
No, don't worry about it.
He would say that himself about himself. He is. He's a brainiac techno guy. But he loves wine, so he learned how to make wine. And so we heard about him. Who did we hear about him from? One of the other people that makes these smoked, actually.
Yeah.
I've been down for Charsky. And
Adi Wallace. Hey, Susan, can you move the tray tips? Sorry.
yeah.
I'm lucky now.
That's right, someone get on the tray.
So we met with him and we loved everything. He had a Grenache Blanc, he had a Viognier, and he has this Grenache and a GSM.
Yeah.
And we love them all.
All right, so
Interesting young guy.
now let's reveal wine.
35.
35 cases?
Wine
$35.
wine number 4.
100 cases.
Really
Wine
cool.
number 4. Yes.
Oh,
Wine number 4.
Yes.
Idlewild
yeah. He hated
Arnais.
it. We loved it. Oh, I just signed up for their wine mailing list.
They're
Yes!
great.
Nailed it! I'm just
So,
so
all right.
excited.
They've done a good job.
So Kevin, you hated it. I mean, that was
I
really
totally- I
that
didn't
was
like
0,
anything
0,
about this
0,
wine.
then 3 points. Why? What was
Because
wrong
I
with
think that somebody at the winery probably messed up the acid adds if they added acid and added citric instead of tartaric. And it tastes like you're eating or drinking
We want
citric.
Now,
And Arnais is usually a lot more concentrated and full on
We
the
want
palate,
more.
and this
We
is
love this.
definitely
What
somebody's
did you have
screwed
for
for
lunch?
I think there is a Cabernet Sauvignon coming up here. Maybe you go.
The thing, you know what?
Which
the
explains
reason,
the
reason I
phenolic
love this
element
is
of
because it
it.
actually
Wine.
tastes like Arnais. It has that sort of raw almond.
I think it's too.
It's got the raw
too
aroma.
citric though. There's too much acid in it.
Stephanie, you loved it.
Absolutely, I
quite as
love
flabby
this,
as
but I would drink
Hey,
this.
guys,
No,
guys,
I'm
I
thinking
would
more of
drink
like
this.
Awesome.
Like-
So we are clear.
Oregon Arnais or like
one at a
New
time.
Arnais.
Yeah, yeah.
Usually a
Kevin.
little more-
Kevin, Stephanie,
Sorry,
you loved
he's
it.
asking me a question
Yeah,
over
we
here.
come back to the wine. We need to keep
I'm
moving.
going to show you.
So go ahead, Stephanie. Why you loved it?
Well,
Thank you,
I do
producer.
drink a lot of esoteric white varietal wines, and like I said, this was right in my wheelhouse. I would drink this day, lunch, night, dinner, barbecue. This to me is quaffable. It's interesting. It's to me more interesting than like a typical domestic Sauvignon Blanc or something. There's a lot going on in this for me. I would.
When I met you, pay for that. You loved it too.
I did love that wine. That's going to be up in the 35 range, $25 to $35 range. I mean, I love the. You know what makes this wine actually so appealing is that it has. And we don't often see it in white wines, but it has a phenolic, character on the palate, which is like a brightness.
Yeah.
It's like it's not an acidity which you get back, but it's a textural thing across the mouth that actually just makes it so refreshing. It's a little bit like drinking iced tea.
Yeah.
You know how refreshing iced tea
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be, but it's got that same sort of sort of unctuousness in the mouth. It's not acid or alcohol at the back of the palate that makes it bright. It's actually a phenolic element, but it's grassy and it's just beautiful. I would have gone. In many ways, I was actually thinking Semillon.
Okay.
That's
a good idea.
I would have called, but I don't.
Do you trade?
We don't see too many Arnais, but
And unfortunately, I get to cheat. I actually know the Vilbro family.
yeah.
So I know which
it's
Arnais
pretty cool.
vineyards that there's a couple that are really, really fun up near Ukiah. There's a
Yeah.
couple that are way, way, way out in the hills. And some of these vineyards were planted 60, 70 years ago that everybody disregarded.
Yeah, no.
A couple of them were fallow for 10 to 15 years.
I work with a vineyard out in Knights Valley, an old, Semillon's about 25 years old, just classic, those phenolic-y sort of texture things that you get. It's not in the acid alcohol realm, it's different.
Let's reveal
That's
the
what makes it refreshing.
wine number 2.
Number 2, eh?
Numero 2.
I didn't even know we had our.
Idle. Wild. Arnais.
Which
It
one?
wasn't even a trick. It was just an accident. I had all these other
And,
wines
you know
in
what?
the refrigerator.
I'm
Hey,
consistent.
I'm consistent. I was like half of like 1 point off.
Holy shit!
That's
Wow.
Yeah, I was
Numbering the
1 point off.
bottles.
That is
Way to go.
radical.
Wayne,
So-
show it up.
Let's go back to Kevin.
One at a time, people. One at a time. Peter has the floor.
Bring it on. I only have one thing to say.
So, Kevin, so the last one we had, you already you gave it 3 points.
Right.
And on this one, you gave him 13 points.
Right.
And Stephanie liked it a little bit less.
1 point.
And but you're still in the same range. And,
I
and
think
Wayne
the
likes it a
temperature
little bit
difference
more.
helped.
Yeah.
I think by the
You
time
know,
you tried
but-
it the second time, the
Kevin,
temperature
what do you like
changed.
this one now?
Bottle variance. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
All right, as the moderator, ladies and gentlemen, I need to take control of the table for one quick moment because, yes, I can smell bullshit like a fart in a car. And
really?
a lot of variation.
I seriously doubt that.
Hold on. I would happily sit in on this to actually play judge.
Okay, so I have number 4, you have number 2, right?
I just charged my glass with number 4.
Oh.
So
No, you didn't.
I did.
No, this was number 4. You just grabbed this
sorry.
one.
And for me, I think it's
you
another
are correct.
testament
You're
about
absolutely
the,
correct.
the
So here's
varietal and the
number
way this
4.
wine is made, that as it comes up a
We
little
pour a
bit,
little more
temperature
number 2 in
gets
there. I'd like to
better.
smell them side by
really
There
side.
is a definitive difference by temperature. But I'm telling you, by
Oh, well,
personality,
okay, that's
tempo.
unfair.
Well, you're
I mean,
pro
you
though.
said-
I mean,
What, you set a Chardonnay out in the sun and then chill the other and ask me which one's better? Really?
well, I don't think
Do
you're a
some
pro, but
summing up.
being a pro, you should be able to recognize that.
Come on.
You shouldn't be tricked by those little things.
It's not a trick, but I just,
Okay,
I bottle variance, man, I swear.
Okay, moving on.
That was
Maybe the cross
That was a
flow
fun one.
blew a
All right,
hole
so
in
now, okay, hold on a second, because we have another tie.
Are you shitting me?
We have another tie here, and
Wait a minute, how much were these wines? Nobody ever said the price.
Oh, how much is there?
30 bucks.
28.
28.
Oh, awesome.
98 cases
Right
produced.
there. That's what it should
so
28 and 28.
That's awesome.
so now we have another tie for like, and let's go back to those wines here. You guys test it again. You know, we need to break the tie. The one number 3 and one number 5.
Okay, drop out 2 glasses. We're gonna go
Well,
back.
last time.
We're gonna revisit. Oh, you still have all the wines?
Oh, but
we
pour
still-
again, like
No,
a fresh
because we
again.
have
Okay.
number 4 in
Well, I
there.
have 5 here. So
Everybody has 5.
So I have nothing here.
Okay,
We need to see 3
number
again?
3 and number 5.
Okay. 3 is back in the glass.
I'd like to see a white one coming up on the top.
Yeah, man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
That's why I have a girl
yeah,
here.
but the Reds had a chance to open up now. It's a whole different
Can
ballgame.
we top
This
off
is
with
top?
top off with the red?
Yeah. For 1 and 2.
Can we change our numbers?
Oh no, well, yeah, that's why we're doing
That's the revisit.
Yeah. So we need to have like it's got to be only one. All right, so
There can be only
Stephanie, one number 3, you absolutely love it. It's 20 out of 20.
I really did in that first flight, but like I said again, I really, I was going with the wines in front of me, and now that I've gone back to that RNA scene, I think I might have even changed my score on that. But I love the tropical nature without it being over the top. It still has great acidity. I don't feel like it's hot. It's got a great finish. It's got texture. I drink a lot of white wine at home. I do. I really enjoy this wine, and I cared for it quite a bit.
So is your score remain the same?
Yeah, no change.
20,
I stand
okay.
by it.
How about you, Kevin?
Hold on.
Before
No, that's
we
all right.
reveal it, I want to ask some questions about this too
Sure.
before we reveal it.
Absolutely.
When we've had this open in tastings, people have said, "Oh my God, it's too dry for me," and we've had people say, "Oh, it's a little sweet." So, you people all.
David,
taste
there's a lot of monkeys out there.
So, but what do you think? Do you think there's any residual in it? Do you think it is just ripe and has a perception of sweetness? And what do you think about the acidity?
Wayne, go ahead.
actually, this wine really challenged me. You know, the colour is off a little. It's sort of moving into a deeper colour profile.
Sorry. Off?
Yes, off. Yeah, like a little. It's not in sort of in the expectation that I would think it would be. It's either a little bit more yellow, a little bit more green. There's some sort of bronzy notes actually coming into the wine. And it actually, I can understand what your customers are saying. It's like a sweet, dry conundrum. Like there's a...
Not conundrum as in the wine, but
no,
conundrum as a
conundrum,
riddle
mental,
wrapped in a-
mental
Thank you.
conundrum.
Thank you.
That is actually going on. It's like it wasn't. I think what this wine has actually lost is some primary fruit freshness. Is where I would. I mean, it's not faulty it's if I was to say, is there anything up with this guy? It's a little oxidized, a little flat, but I think it has some RS. I think that. It wasn't my favourite wine of the flight.
So is your score remains the same? You give it a 15?
If it, yes. Well, if it means that I have to make a choice between the two wines, if I've got for number 1 or 2, I would take this wine down.
Okay, so I give you like a 14 on it. Yeah. How about you, Kevin?
I after smelling and tasting a second time, I want to give it 18 instead of 15.
Well,
Look at that, ladies and
And,
gentlemen.
and no, but hang on.
I can go down a lot further than you can go up. I'm going to actually. I can give it a.
Twice as my panel's up.
And the other thing I have to say to that is, I bet you can go down.
And wait till I go. And we haven't even talked about the Pinot yet.
No.
Don't
But
put it
yeah,
on
we
us.
finish this one here.
We
We finish this one.
Number
So
five.
what you give like a more higher score on this one here?
Well, I'll tell you, the color when it was first poured, it had just a little bit of like an orangey pink hue to it, which I would say would be like maybe a dry orange muscat. But I have like the really dead feeling in my body that it's another Arnaise, just because we've already been fooled once. But my guess is still a muscat, but like on the drier side of what people can do, because most people think that muscats are always sweet, and I don't.
So you think it's a muscat? What do you think?
Well,
it is?
I thought it was a CV Viognier.
Okay. What about
I
you?
drink,
Yeah,
I drink a lot of that stuff.
So then maybe they fermented a little Syrah with the Viognier instead of like they do Syrah with Viognier, because there's color in here that you would never get from just the
Yeah, that
Viognier.
he saw, I'm
Could it be
Okay,
skin
let's
contact
move on
Pinot
to.
Gris?
Could be.
Yeah,
Let's
because
possibly
Pinot
is.
Gris has a little of that rose.
Let's possibly is
like
a little
that-
sweet.
Let's move on
That
to
could
one
be-
number 5, and we're gonna go and
You never said what it was.
Well, we're gonna.
I
think it's
get it.
Pinot.
All right.
It's a dead deal.
Okay,
Right,
and
yeah,
we're gonna
it's
start
a
with
dead
you,
heat.
Kevin, since you like to talk.
I want to bump this up to 18.
Okay, I get it.
And
I got you.
I do actually, I'm curious if there is residual sugar, which we'll probably never know, but.
Well, maybe David will be able to tell you.
It has a,
you mean
definitely
in
has,
this?
yeah, it definitely has a fingerprint of a Rhone styled wine in it.
Oh, you're talking about this one here?
Yeah, number 5.
Okay.
It's full bodied and rich, and the bouquet is just, it's got better as it's opened up.
So you're going to 18 on this one too?
Yeah. I mean, I love this wine.
Definitely not the Russian judge. Jeez, this guy loves
Where was he on
everything.
that?
I'm
Great
actually,
one.
I'm actually gonna,
Before two.
and I hate to soil the pot, and we wanted the white wine on top, but I'm going up on this too. This is an 18 now. I was a 16 at the start. I think it's opened up both with the finish and for me texturally, absolutely. So it's an 18 now.
18? Okay.
It's pretty
How
awesome.
about you?
Yeah, I think so.
I will give it a 25.
Holy
Is this his
It's
wine?
there it is. No,
It is, isn't it?
Well,
It's your
No,
wine.
it's not my
So,
wine.
all right, that's 19. So obviously this is the clear winner. So
DJ,
let's-
when you retabulate, give me 1 sec.
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for the very, very first time ever in Toot Sweet Tasting in the Dark history, we have a panel of judges that have gone from, what the heck is this? to, I think this is the greatest thing ever! So it's been quite a genesis.
Don't put words
I
in our
feel we've
mouth.
all gone on
Nobody
this
said
journey
ever.
together. And wow, I'm really excited to see what the final tabulation proves.
And what is number 6?
Okay, let's reveal one number 3
five.
first.
Number 5.
What varietal is
Wine number 3,
I think it's Pinot.
ladies and gentlemen, is called Rococo.
What is it?
Pinot Gris.
Pinot Gris.
Okay.
Good call.
It's
Yeah.
actually Pinot Gris, a touch of Riesling and Gewurz.
Yeah, as soon as you said that.
Oh, wow.
the
Oh,
90
well, you get
that's
that. Yeah, you
90%.
get the color from
Yeah,
Gewurz
as
too.
soon as you said that was a very good call.
And hold on here. Hold on, so what is the number 6?
Rococo Pinot Gris,
this is how much?
$30, 164 cases. Brian
Okay.
Brown, winemaker.
Yeah, I got Brian does that.
Cool, right on.
Yeah.
What was the next question?
What? And your guess on the one number 5, the winner of the flight.
I cheated.
What the variable?
Pinot Noir for me.
Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir.
It's Rhone or Petite.
Ah, the power of a
It
family.
is not, it's not Pinot Noir.
It's not.
No.
Power of a family.
It's not Rhone.
It's definitely not right.
Pinot Meunier.
Pinot Meunier.
Pinot Pinot
You should totally know that, man. What the hell?
Pinot Noir is a clone.
No, but you should know that.
That's awesome.
I do know that.
No, but you
it's
should
Pinot
know-
Noir. Pinot Meunier is Pinot Noir.
Yeah, but you should know that from
There is no definition.
your
There's no
former
separation between
incarnation.
Pinot Meunier.
Well, champagne does it.
The wines are.
Yeah, I may know a couple
No,
of
that's
people
what
that
I'm
would tend to
saying,
differ with.
Yeah.
I think they probably could, but what's the difference? What's the difference between
that's much
777 or 115?
Oh, it's Vanderkamp.
Yeah, it's Greg Lafayette Vanderkamp.
Yeah.
So tell us more about this one, David.
Well, Greg Lafayette is, he's
Yeah.
a master. He knows more about
Great.
Pinot Noir than
Perfect.
anybody.
Right.
Damn
Really
Australia.
on the
Really
planet.
wanted to be
He's
your
been
wine.
invited to lecture
Australians.
at the university in Burgundy. So for the, I can tell you, the French are inviting an American to tell them about Pinot Noir.
No, he's in Australia.
Well, you know,
Greg?
Yeah.
He is.
Yes, he is.
Greg Lafayette is.
Greg Lafayette.
Why isn't he making?
They invite him just because his last name sounds like it's
He's
French.
been here for 20 years, but
Well, there you
he's,
go.
yeah,
And he
Well,
does
yeah,
almost-
he,
He's
speaks,
almost an
he
American.
speaks strangely.
that's
His accent's all muddled these days. It sounds like he's been in California a while.
And it's all crazy. But Greg, I went to college with Greg.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Then you should have known.
You know what? My history in
He
sparkling,
lobbied
I
hard.
should
I think
have.
they're in cahoots.
Yeah,
He really did.
It's
I mean,
a,
you
it's a
think
good
he was
Pinot.
getting a
It's a
paycheck.
good Pinot Noir menu.
Yeah, but he lobbied hard because I thought about
New variety.
Noirny. That's a Pinot Noirny.
Wow. So, in summation, if that's even remotely possible, what an extraordinary night of Toot Sweet Tasting in the Dark. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very, very much for participating.
Cheers, thank you.
I sense now, because I have this overwhelming knack for discovering gummies, that Kevin needs to say something.
bottle variants.
Stephanie, is there one final morsel you would like to bestow upon the world?
I was right.
Shazam.
You were right.
It is beauty's
About what?
privilege. She's always
About
right.
not wearing underwear? About not wearing
Wade,
underwear?
from down under where the toilets flush in the wrong direction.
They do. They go anti-cyclonic, but
It's interesting.
Stephanie cute, and thank you for having us here, and it's all good.
And before we leave, I would like to bring like a little subject and see what is your thoughts on that. But my understanding is that California now is about, is talking about lowering down, from 0.08 to 0.05. And what do you think about it? I mean, do you have any thoughts
About drinking?
Which way or the other way? Kevin, go ahead.
Well, considering you started me out with a vodka tonic, I guess that's
Gin.
probably
There was
whatever.
Or vodka.
I think 0.05 is great. If you're too cheap to take a taxi, then you deserve to go to jail. Nobody should be able to drive before they're 18. Half of the deaths in Napa are probably below 18, especially on the trail.
God, I love
Where people
speculation.
are like
about
driving
facts.
like 90 miles an hour in a 55 at,
So you're for?
I'm
You're
totally
for it.
for it. I will totally take a taxi every day or walk.
What about the restaurants and all that? I mean, if you
Well-
go to a restaurant and
And once again, if you're too cheap to take a taxi, then you deserve to get popped. Especially in Napa Valley, where it's like from anywhere in downtown Napa to anywhere, and if you live in the city of Napa, you can get home for $15, and it's what, 15, 20 grand for a DUI? Call me crazy, but I'll spend $15.
Sounds like a
how
no-brainer
about
for
you,
Kevin.
David? What do you think of that?
Absolutely agree. I think that there's, given the number of people that die from people who have been drinking that are driving, how can you justify, well, I only had 3 drinks. It doesn't matter.
I had
how
4
many.
whiskeys.
If people are dying because people are drinking and driving, they shouldn't be drinking and driving. Take a cab, to get a car, do something, but,
Call a
don't-
friend.
Embrace
and
your
it's-
pregnant friends, invite them to dinner, pay for their dinner, and they will drive you everywhere.
That's
That's
right.
my advice
I
as
totally
the 30-something-year-old woman at the panel.
You're-
Get knocked up! You're my drive home.
All right.
Oh, Wayne, how do you follow that?
Well, look, Australia has actually been 0.05, since I was a kid, and we drank at 18. And really, at the end of the day, drinking and alcohol consumption, it's all about moderation, and that's what in our industry, it's about wine, food, drinking for the flavour
agree.
of what the wines actually are. I mean, it's a food. And it's a perfect accompaniment. We can sit here and talk tonight about individual nuances about all the individual wines that we taste. But at the end of the day, moderate consumption, sensible consumption is key. That's it.
And to Kevin's point about being frugal, Monica and I, when we were still living in Napa, and we would drive home from St. Helena and take a cab back to St. Helena or Yountville or wherever we were having dinner with guests, we added up how much we spent at the end of the year on either a driver or taxis. And it was a few $1,000s. You get popped once. It's not only the money, the time, the driving, you're getting restrictions on your driving.
That big red A you have to wear,
it's more frugal to take a cab or get a
But
driver.
David, I do think
But
that,
also, you don't ever calculate in the amount of hours that you beg people to drive you to, if you do get a DUI and you live up Valley, the only DUI schools are down Valley. So if you live in St. Helena, you're either biking every day to come down here, or you're begging people. And after about 6 months, people are just like, I'm not driving you down there again for an hour.
I know the other side of that though, as a smaller size person, I will say take care of
not
your
at all.
smaller size
I've only had
friends.
5.
They should not be
there
driving
you go.
because if you
So
get
I'm
reduced
still a
back
novice.
to
Single
0.05,
digits?
someone like
I
me,
know.
look out for your friends. Be a good friend, be a good neighbor, and I'm like the perfect, it's like for me, I'm not a 250-pound man, and I'm
Really?
in this industry, so you have to
Because
look.
you hide it well in your pockets.
The surgeries, oh my god.
But
Next, it just.
But it doesn't make
This
any
is
difference
not
from
good.
0.08 to 0.05.
Actually,
who gives
So you're
just
gonna be
look,
packing a Mac?
just look out
make it
for
to
your
0.
friends.
I
The
mean,
other
may as
idea
well.
is look out for your friends.
no,
I mean-
0.05's reasonable.
Look out
I
for
mean,
your
may as
friends.
well,
When he
right?
drinks a whole bottle of cough syrup and he gets pulled over, he's in big trouble then. That would just be terrible.
Well, no, but that's why they changed it from DWI, which was driving while intoxicated, to DUI, because that encompasses everything from smoking marijuana to doing NyQuil shots at noon.
Or Vicodin.
So
Yeah, hey, but don't
Let alone when you chase your bike
do
and
not
it
go
goes
there.
faster.
On a serious note, the bigger issue in this community is that we do need a service to actually be available for us to have taxis.
Yes.
Right now,
City,
unfortunately,
countywide.
unfortunately, we don't have that service. We do.
Sorry
have
to
taxis,
jump in.
but
Oh, correct.
we need more available public transport.
I totally agree.
For us.
I believe the Napa wine train should become that. Just
Exactly.
saying.
No, not at all. No, yeah, to San Helena late at night, but also like downtown Napa at like midnight, you can't get a taxi unless you're sitting in a restaurant and then you ask that restaurant to call it.
That's right.
You can't flag a taxi on the street.
No, you can't.
Why would you want to when you have something like Uber? Sorry, there's an app that
Uber, yes, but does
But-
I don't
but
think
Uber
Uber's a
doesn't work
Napa.
is
No.
absolutely live in it.
Really?
Yeah, they've
It's not,
got
it's
it out
not
there
in St.
for Barbara.
Helena, and you got to wait for
Or
6
weeks, 5 weeks before. But
Sorry,
yes, so
6
anyway,
weeks
sorry.
before the taxi turns
Anyone
up.
out there in cyber world, if you find yourself in Napa and you have drank too much, we're probably sitting next to you. But more importantly,
Maybe Uber's
download the
the
app to Uber. Because quite frankly, they'll get you the best rate and you actually get to jump in a cab.
How you spell that?
UBER with a dipdome or whatever.
One day, UBER.
Like Uber Allies.
Uber.
Like
No, and-
Uber Delicious.
Yeah, there's
I have one other thing to say. If you live in the city of Napa, anywhere within the greater city of Napa,
It's a 20-minute walk.
it's a 20 to 30 minute walk, and if you are that lazy, then you deserve to go to Napa
Are you
County.
kidding me? They have the pedicabs. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Those kids
Oh, yeah,
work
yeah,
hard
and
for
the-
the
yeah,
money.
right.
Those kids
Oh,
work
yeah,
hard.
yeah, yeah.
They,
Yeah, I
I've
need to
been
get on one of those.
in the
'Cause
rain
I need a pedicure.
during premiere. Morimoto.
Let them confetti.
Sauce.
Yeah,
Put that foot up here right now. She'll do it right
No,
here
you
in
want to
front
see
of everybody
You don't
out
want to see
there.
this little shit. It's like it's bad.
You've already, she's cut the camera off now that we're talking
You
about.
don't want to go
Oh,
in there.
yeah.
You do
Look,
not want
it's
to go in
even
there.
All right.
Do you have open? Do you have
Gracie,
open
what camera am I
source?
supposed to be looking at? That camera or this camera?
Can you get HPV?
Ladies and gentlemen, this trail has fully derailed. We will see you again next, or the first Monday of next month. I very much look forward to bringing in 3 new panelists and another phenomenal winemaker. When you need unbelievable wines like this juice here,
750.
contact Dave Stevens at 750 Wines in St. Helena. Thank you
Bottle
all very much.
variants.
Did you do it? I've been to one or two, but Idlewild, I don't know how I heard about Idlewild just a few weeks ago, and I just signed up and I've been talking to more people, and they're just, that's